Millions of people live in constant, quiet fear of a catastrophic financial ruin. They imagine a devastating market crash. They picture a failed business, a massive medical emergency, or a sudden, dramatic job loss. We are conditioned to believe that losing everything requires a spectacular, incredibly loud event. Even though the overwhelming majority of people who die completely broke never experience a single financial disaster in their entire lives. So how does a lifetime of hard work and steady income quietly vanish into thin air? Picture a perfectly normal Tuesday morning. You wake up and check your phone. An automated notification tells you that a digital subscription just renewed for $12. You walk out to your driveway and get into a beautifully clean, modern SUV. It has a monthly payment of $600, which perfectly fits your budget. You drive to the office, but you stop halfway to top your phone against a glass screen for a $5 premium coffee. At noon, you tap your phone again to have a $15 lunch delivered directly to your desk. It feels entirely normal. You are not buying massive yachts. You are not gambling at a casino. You are just living a comfortable, modern life. Everyone you know lives exactly like this. It feels completely safe. But a brilliant, entirely invisible trap has just been executed. You think going broke is a loud, explosive event, like a massive concrete dam suddenly breaking and washing away an entire town. But true financial ruin is actually a microscopic process. It is a million tiny, invisible pinholes drilled into the side of the dam. The water level drops so slowly and so quietly that you never even notice the reservoir is emptying until the moment you reach for a glass of water and find only dust. People don't make bad money decisions. They respond to the environment around them. And your environment is a masterpiece of psychological engineering designed to extract your wealth in increments so small that your brain completely fails to register the threat. Think about how you actually pay for things today. If you had to physically reach into your wallet, pull out a crisp $20 bill, and hand it to another human being every time you wanted to watch a movie or listen to a song, your brain would register a sharp, biological friction. Neurologically, handing over physical cash triggers the exact same pain receptors in the human brain as a physical injury. The financial system understands this biological limitation perfectly, so they removed the pain. They introduced frictionless spending. You do not hand over cash anymore. You double-click the side button on your phone. A small digital face scans your eyes, a pleasant chime sounds, and the transaction is over. There is no pain. There is only a microscopic release of dopamine. But the real reason this habit never disappears is much stranger. It goes far beyond the simple convenience of buying a coffee. The entire global economy has fundamentally shifted its business model. Decades ago, corporations wanted to sell you a product. They wanted you to buy a physical object, take it home, and own it forever. But selling you something once is a terrible way to build a multi-billion-dollar empire. So the system realized they could just rent you your own life. They introduced the subscription model. It started with gym memberships and streaming services. A few dollars here, a few dollars there. It felt like a massive bargain. But now, you subscribe to your software, you subscribe to your razor blades, you subscribe to your music, your meal kits, and your television. Car manufacturers are even starting to charge monthly subscriptions just to activate the heated seats in the car sitting in your own driveway. You do not own your environment anymore. You are simply leasing access to it. Most people disagree about this. If you look on online consumer forums, you will find millions of people who fiercely defend the subscription economy. They argue that $12 a month is a brilliant deal for unlimited entertainment. Some economists argue the opposite. They point out that a modern consumer might have 20 different automated subscriptions running in the background of their life, silently draining thousands of dollars a year for services they barely even use. Here is where people are split. Are we living in a golden age of limitless convenience, or have we willingly signed up for an invisible tax on our daily existence? To find the answer, you just have to look at the driveway. Every 3 or 4 years, the average person trades in their car. They walk into a dealership, hand over the keys to a perfectly functional vehicle, and drive out in a slightly newer, slightly shinier version of the exact same machine. The salesperson smiles and tells them they can keep their monthly payment exactly the same. The consumer feels incredibly smart. They feel like they just hacked the system. But let's look at this exact same situation from a completely different economic position. How does the bank view that car payment? To you, keeping your car payment at $600 a month feels like a fixed cost of living. It's just a line item on your monthly budget. But to the bank, you just legally promised to hand them the first 40 hours of your labor every single month, indefinitely. You have guaranteed that for the rest of your adult life, your future time belongs entirely to them. You are treating a depreciating piece of metal like a permanent monthly utility bill. This is how the system quietly prevents you from ever reaching escape velocity. Every time you get a raise at work, the extra money does not go toward buying back your own freedom. The environment immediately pressures you to upgrade your lifestyle. You get a slight bump in pay, and suddenly the apartment feels too small, the car feels too old, the generic groceries feel insufficient. You absorb the raise into a permanently more expensive life. The biggest financial advantage isn't intelligence, it's which game you're playing. The middle class is playing a game of visual consumption. They use their hard-earned capital to buy the appearance of wealth. They want the driveway to look impressive. They want the convenience of food magically appearing at their door. They are playing a game of short-term comfort. But the ultra-wealthy are playing a completely different game. They are playing the game of capture. They know that the greatest wealth-building force in the universe is compounding interest. If you take the money spent on automated subscriptions, daily convenience fees, and continuous car upgrades, and you simply invest it in the broader market, the mathematical result over 30 years is utterly staggering. It is the difference between dying broke and passing down generational wealth. The wealthy understand this math perfectly, so they build the systems that capture your compounding interest before you can ever utilize it. They do not want your massive lump sum purchases. They want your tiny, insignificant daily transactions. They want the $5 here and the $12 there. Because when millions of people blindly hand over $5 a day, the wealthy pool that money together, invest it in the global market, and use the momentum of compound interest to build an absolute fortress. Wealth is often less about effort and more about position. If your position is the consumer of convenience, your effort bleeds away. You will work 50 hours a week for 40 decades, completely exhausting your physical and mental capacity. But because you allowed your wealth to slowly leak through 1,000 microscopic pinholes, your hands will always be empty. If your position is the owner of the system, you do not have to work 50 hours a week. You simply sit at the bottom of the dam and quietly capture the bleed. Let's slowly reveal the hidden mechanics holding this entire illusion together. The incentives of the modern corporate world are laser-focused on removing every single ounce of friction from the spending process. They know that if you have time to stop and think about a purchase, you might realize you don't actually need it. So they create algorithms that predict what you want before you even know you want it, and they place a one-click purchase button directly in your line of sight. The structures of the global economy have completely shifted away from ownership. The system aggressively pushes you toward leasing, subscribing, and financing because an endless stream of payments is infinitely more profitable than a one-time sale. The social pressures of the digital age create an artificial, unyielding demand for perfection. You see your peers taking premium vacations, driving pristine cars, and enjoying flawless lifestyles. The psychological pressure to maintain your social status forces you to continually swipe your card just to keep up the appearance of belonging. And the probabilities dictate a brilliant, ruthless reality. Statistically, human beings are creatures of intense inertia. The financial system knows with absolute mathematical certainty that if they can just get you to sign up for a free trial and enter your credit card information, you will almost never take the necessary steps to cancel it. You will simply let it run in the background. The people who reach the end of their lives with absolutely nothing in the bank did not fail the system. They followed the system perfectly. They did exactly what the economy trained them to do since they were children. They prioritized extreme convenience over long-term gravity. They trusted that small expenses didn't matter. They allowed their environment to completely dictate their behavior. They were spectacular, highly efficient consumers. When you finally understand the invisible machinery operating behind your daily habits, the world looks entirely different. You realize that a $12 streaming service is not just $12, it is the forfeiture of future wealth. You see that the convenience of tapping your phone for a coffee is actually a carefully designed mechanism to bypass your biological defense systems. You recognize that upgrading your car every 3 years is a voluntary decision to remain a permanent indentured servant to the banking sector. The money you casually spend on these everyday conveniences doesn't magically disappear into the void. It simply relocates. It leaves the hands of those who trade their time for comfort, and it settles permanently into the accounts of those who trade their comfort for ownership. The system is functioning flawlessly. The only question is which side of the transaction you are standing on.